Hello YouTube, Elmas Show here, and I have for you guys today the final Wi-Fi battle of 2014. And let me tell you guys, if you can't see the length of this video for some reason, this was a really long battle, but trust me, it was an extremely good one. So I definitely know you guys will enjoy this. Make sure to answer the question of the day, which I think is a bit more of a, how would you say it, serious, kind of like, I don't know, heart to heart, I guess you could say, kind of question. And of course my answer will be at the end of the video, so make sure to hit the like button down below if you do enjoy the battle, which I know you definitely will. So with that being said, I've rambled on enough. Let's take a look at the team and get into the match. So going into this battle, the biggest threats I saw on my opponent's team were going to be the Metagross and Bisharp, just because the team that I'm using doesn't really have a dedicated physical wall, and after a Swords Dance, Bisharp could possibly sweep me. Also, Mega Metagross hits extremely hard, so I really have to watch out for them. As my opponent leads off with Keldeo, I lead off with my Landers. I'm going to go ahead and switch directly into my Azumarill because I am Assault Vested. I know that I can take any move that he wants to go for, whether it be Scald, Hydro Pump, or Icy Wind. I am going to be able to take the Scald. Thankfully, he does not burn me. And then I'm going to double switch into my Landers, predicting him to bring in Rotom. Reason being is that I actually carry Focus Blast on this Landers, and I was really hoping this would be enough to knock out Rotom. However, though, I get really lucky, and he misses a Hydro Pump. Now, Rotom wasn't really a threat to my team, but it was a major nuisance and pain in my side. So the fact that I've weakened it that much is going to make it so much easier for me to be able to take it down. But you're going to see that Rotom just will not go down in this battle. So as he switches into Latias, I'm thinking, okay, the switch into Tyranitar is way too obvious. So what I'm going to do is switch into my Ferrothorn on the off chance that he does stay in and go for an offensive move and doesn't switch out into Rotom. Ferrothorn is my best middle ground play, because if he switched into Rotom as I brought in Tyranitar, obviously I would be in a bad situation, but by bringing in Ferrothorn, I can still possibly Leech Seed him, or I can start getting up my spikes. As I take a Side Shock, I know that he is not going to be carrying the Hidden Power of Fire, so I'm going to Leech Seed this turn as he brings in the Rotom. I completely forgot that Rotom notoriously carry Pain Split, so I'm going to go ahead and stay in thinking, okay, Rotom can't do anything to me outside of burn me with the Will-O-Wisp, which honestly my Ferrothorn really isn't going to be bothered by Will-O-Wisp, just because I do have Leech Seed. I can Leech Seed pretty much everything on his team. As I go for the Protect, scouting out to see what he wanted to do, he reveals to me that he has the Pain Split. So the following turn, because he's getting worn down more and more, what I'm going to do is make a rather aggressive play by switching into my Landers, predicting him to go for the Pain Split, which is exactly what happens. And now I'm in the same situation that I was in earlier in the battle, where I can just freely go for a Psychic. But on the off chance that I would possibly miss the Focus Blast, I decide to actually just go for the safe play, which is the Psychic, as he does predict that he's going to go ahead and bring in the Latias. Even if I had gone for Focus Blast, it really wouldn't have done more damage to this Latias in the first place. So because earlier he didn't switch out predicting my Tyranitar, what I'm going to do is predict him to predict my Tyranitar and switch out into the Rotom, and that is exactly what happens. I'm going to be able to pop this Rotom with a Psychic, but he just barely hangs on. And if I had just Focus Blasted that turn and got rid of this Rotom, this match probably would have gone a whole lot smoother for me, because this Rotom, you're gonna see, comes back from nearly dying. As he switches into the Latias, I'm thinking, okay, third time is a charm. He's going to stay in this time. I'm going to switch right into my Tyranitar. I'm going to Pursuit Trap this Latias. It's going to be all fine and dandy. Rotom's practically dead. It's all good. I'm in a solid situation. I can hopefully get on my Stealth Rocks, start getting that residual damage on his team, as he does end up staying in. Goes straight for the Draco Meteor, does absolutely nothing to, well, not absolutely, but you get what I mean, does practically nothing to me, and I'm basically in a checkmate situation where I can just Pursuit Trap this Latias and knock it out. But Healing Wish is a very popular move on Latias, which at the time of the battle I did not fully think out my play, and I literally waste this turn. Because if anything, what I should have done was gone for my Stealth Rocks. And as I mentioned Healing Wish is something that did not come to mind because I was so fixated on the point that I was about to get rid of this Latios and that Rotom is nearly knocked out. But as you see, he Healing Wishes into his Rotom as I switch right into my Ferrothorn. The reason why this is so sped up is because it's really kind of the slowest and stalliest part of the match, because I have nothing on my team to take a burn, and as I mentioned earlier, my Ferrothorn really isn't too bothered by the burn just because I can Leech Seed everything on his team. I have Protect, so I'll be kind of nullifying the burn, or it'll be doing less damage than it normally would be, of course. So I can still keep Ferrothorn at a relatively high amount of HP, and after Leech Seeding, I do predict him to switch out as I'm able to catch the incoming Bisharp. This is absolutely perfect for me. However though, with me being burned, I can't exactly do too much damage to the Bisharp. So what I'm going to do this turn is switch into my Azumarill, hoping that after a +2 I can take a Iron Head and I'll be able to get off a huge amount of damage with the Waterfall. But he actually ends up switching directly on now to his Keldeo, which has me thinking, okay, he may not have Swords Dance on Bisharp, which is absolutely perfect for me. So because I got the better end of the switch outs, I'm going to predict him to switch out again into the Rotom, and I'm going to pull a double switch into my Landorus, but he switches into his own Landorus, and I don't know if he's Scarfed or not, but I'm going to stay in, and I'm just going to go for the safe Psychic on the off chance that maybe he wanted to stay in and go for the Stealth Rocks, as he makes a very excellent and aggressive play predicting the Psychic. I'm going to stay in because I cannot allow this Bisharp to get up a free +2 with Swords Dance, as I'm able to just barely survive the Sucker Punch. I'm going to be able to finish off the Bisharp with the Earth Power, which is absolutely amazing because now the only real thing I have to worry about is that Metagross. So as he brings in the Keldeo, I'm very positive that he's going to go for the Scald just because he knows that I have Azumarill. Secret Sword is not the move that he wants to go for. He wants to go for Scald because he wants to try to get that burn on my Azumarill, so he will limit my switch-ins with it to his Keldeo. So I am able to get the prediction correctly, as I believe I do just end up going for the Leech Seed again, because this is really the best thing that I have to do with my Ferrothorn. I have to keep it at much HP as possible, so my best play to do is to just consistently go for Leech Seed on whatever he decides to switch in, or whatever Pokemon I'm in that I know that I can take a hit from. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I believe I just get up a layer of Spikes, predicting his Landorus to go for the Stealth Rocks, as he does end up going for the Rocks. That one layer of Spikes is really gonna be helpful to me, being able to limit that Keldeo switch-ins. And it's also nice to be able to get off that extra little bit of damage on his Metagross. However though, if I did Stealth Rocks earlier in the match with my Tyranitar, this match probably would have gone a lot easier for me. The same thing if I did just go for Focus Blast, predicting the Rotom, but I was scared that I would miss. It's just, in the end, hindsight is 2020. So predicting him to switch out this turn, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Leech Seed, as I'm able to catch the incoming Keldeo. This is really great for me because he took Spikes damage, and now he's going to take Leech Seed damage. Now I can just really start wearing down Keldeo and making it a bit less of a problem to my team, because the only real way that I have to deal with this Keldeo is with prediction. So this turn I make a bit of a questionable play, and instead of going straight for the Protect, I switch directly into my Azumarill. Reason being is that after I go for Protect, he knows that I'm going to be fearing Secret Sword and switch out, so in return he could pull a double switch into his Metagross. So by switching directly into my Azumarill, I put him in a situation where he's going to have to switch directly into his Rotom and fear whatever move that I want to go for. But he actually ends up switching into his Landorus, most likely predicting me to go for the Play Rough. But I actually carry Scald on this Azumarill, as I'm able to burn the incoming Landorus. This is absolutely amazing because Landorus is now practically useless to him. So thinking that he would go for the Earthquake, I decided to go for the Waterfall, which honestly was just a really bad play on my part, because I should have definitely gone for the Scald, because judging for how much damage it did, after Scald damage and burn damage, Landorus still would have gotten knocked out. So as he went for the U-turn into Rotom, I might have actually been able to burn the incoming Rotom, which would have made it a little bit easier to deal with. And because I really have no safe switching to this Rotom outside of my Ferrothorn, I actually end up bringing in my Tyranitar. In hindsight, I probably should have actually brought in Ferrothorn. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I did bring in my Tyranitar. I think I was hoping that he would Will-O-Wisp or Hydro Pump, I think. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why I brought in Tyranitar. But he's going to be able to get a free switch into his Keldeo. And I think that maybe I was... I don't know. I honestly do not know why I brought in Tyranitar. Yeah, I'm trying to remember, but this battle is a bit old, so I apologize about that. But just, in the end, that was a really bad play on my end. As I switch right into my Asmoro, Hydro Pump thankfully does not do enough damage to the point where another one will be able to finish him off, so he's not going to take the chance of me surviving and possibly knocking him out with the Play Rough. However, though, I don't carry Play Rough on this Asmoro. I actually carry Knockoff, Waterfall, Aqua Jet, and Scald. It's not my set, it's a set that I did want to try out. As I Scald the incoming Rotom, I am unable to get a burn, and after the Hydro Pump damage and the Sandstorm damage, my Asmoro is basically useless to me just because I can't switch into another attack coming from Keldeo. So I'm just going to Aqua Jet, get off a little bit of chip damage on the Rotom just so I can hopefully bring him down to the range where a Psychic will be able to finish him off for my Landorus. But because he did get up Stealth Rocks, I have to find some way to Rapid Spin with my Excadrill. And here, I could have definitely brought in Excadrill and forced him to switch out into Rotom, but instead I bring in my Lopunny because he literally has nothing to switch into my Lopunny stab moves. Well, he could bring in Metagross, but that would really be a bad play on his part if I did go straight for a high jump kick. As I go for the fake out, I actually do not carry Ice Punch on this Lopunny. I actually have a Healing Wish, which is why I went straight for the fake out and not the Ice Punch, and I didn't want to go for return and for some reason have him barely survive, as I'm going to be able to follow up the fake out and finish him off with a return. Landorus is now one less thing that I have to worry about, but he does not get a free switch into his Metagross. So knowing that I do still have use for my Lopunny, what I'm going to do is switch directly on now into my Ferrothorn, and this was back when a Hammer Arm was not really popular on Mega Metagross, so I knew that my Ferrothorn was going to be a pretty solid check to this Metagross just because I can go for the Leech Seed, I can protect, I can wear him down even though I am burned. Gyro Ball is still going to be doing a little bit of damage to him, and then he pulls out the Rock Polish, and I'm not going to lie, this actually really scared me because after Rock Polish, even in Sand, Excadrill does not outspeed Metagross. So at this point, I thought that I honestly just lost the battle right here. So I go for the Leech Seed, which is really the only thing that I can do against this Metagross, and just hope that maybe somehow I can beat it one-on-one. And then he makes a very questionable play, and instead of staying in to take out my Ferrothorn, he switches on now into Keldeo. The only thing that I can think of is that maybe he thought I had Air Balloon on my Excadrill, which would be able to take on his Metagross. But at the same time, why would he Rock Polish then, instead of just being aggressive and going straight for the offensive play? So yeah, I don't really know what happened there, but this just opens up so much room for me. As I bring in my Lopunny, I'm gonna go ahead and make an aggressive play and go straight for the return. And at this point in the battle, it had not clicked in my mind that that Keldeo was a Choice Scarf. So if he really wanted, he could have stayed in and gone for a Secret Sword and possibly knocked me out. But luckily, I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO the incoming Rotom, which is really good for me because now I can basically fodder off my Landorus. I was really only keeping Landorus to be able to knock out this Rotom after I went for Rapid Spin with my Excadrill. As he brings in the Metagross, I thought that High Jump Kick would be strong enough to finish him off, but no, he does live on a solid amount of HP, as I'm going to be able to switch on out, fodder off my Landorus, and then this way I get a free switch back into my Lopunny, and I'm going to be able to go for the Fake Out. Even though Fake Out probably won't knock him out at the amount of HP that he is at, though, it should be an easy 2-hit KO. So after a Fake Out, I can switch into Tyranitar, get up my Sand for my Excadrill. After I knock out this Metagross with Fake Out, my Excadrill will be able to outspeed his potentially scarfed Keldeo, but I end up getting a crit. It just really sped up the process of this match, and this is where I find out that he's scarfed, as he's going to be able to easily knock me out with the Secret Sword. I'm fine with this. I'm honestly not worried whatsoever, because Adamant Excadrill in the Sand with its speed being doubled is faster than scarfed Keldeo, timid natured. So I can just bring a Tyranitar, just fodder it off to the Secret Sword, which will kill me 10 times over because it is stabbed, and 4 times super effective, allowing me to now get a free switch into my Exodro, and I really wanted to go for the rapid spin kill, but knowing my luck, he would live on like 1 HP and then finish me off. So I decided just to go for the safe earthquake, and that is going to be the 1-0 victory in my favor. So that was definitely one hell of a battle, one hell of a lengthy battle as well, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Like right now, I'm still trying to think what was I thinking when I switched Tyranitar in on that Volt Switch. I really don't know. I don't know. I think that's probably like the worst play I probably would have done, but then again, I really had no save. Switching to Rotom. Anyways, I'm rambling. My answer to the question of the day is 2014 has definitely been an interesting year for me. I had a lot of ups and downs, more downs than ups to be perfectly honest, but I've survived. I've coped with things, got over things, and moved to Elmas, and the channel has been doing amazing. It really has, and I'm so excited for 2015. I see the channel being bigger and just so amazing with your guys' support. So thank you everybody for sticking with me for the past few weeks that I've had the channel open. 2015 is going to be a great, awesome year, and hopefully you guys will continue to stick around with me so long as you enjoy my content. And yeah, that is my answer. So let me know how your 2014 year was, and of course guys, if you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button down below. And with that being said, thank you everybody for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Later.